Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be unboxing and swatching this watercolor set from A Gallo, I think is how it's pronounced. This is a handmade Italian brand of watercolors, which I was lucky enough to find that Jackson's in the UK is now selling, and I've been wanting these for the longest time, but they were always part of a release you had to sign up for before they quickly sold out. I never quite had time for all of that, so I don't know much about this brand. I unboxed this on my previous haul video. They're absolutely stunning. So let's unbox this again and I will start swatching them for you all. I think this is the biggest splurge I've ever had with watercolors before, so I will warn you, they are super pricey. I hope they're worth it. Let's see. I'm very excited. First of all, it comes in a beautiful cardboard box. It's a heavy-duty cardboard box that is very well made. And then it comes in some beautiful tissue paper wrapping. So I'm going to carefully remove it from the box. And then it comes with some a beautiful sticker with the company's name, and then more beautiful packaging. Look at that. It's just exquisite. It kind of has like a, almost looks like a peacock pattern. It says, Honey Watercolors, handmade in Italy. Show that. I believe this is the most expensive paint set I've ever purchased. Yes, I'm counting it as my Mother's Day to myself. So this is a beautiful palette. It does have the thumb ring on the bottom, and then it has a gold sticker that says Honey Watercolors from A Gallo, handmade in Italy. It has their tree as their trademark. It has a beautiful palette and plenty of mixing space, as well as the mixing tray here. The signature palette that I chose to try out first. It comes with its own little swatch chart, and it has all of the colors. It also comes with a paintbrush, size 0, Tintoretto. I don't know how to say this. It's an Italian paintbrush, and it's a size 0. And it looks like a mop brush. It is lightweight, but it does look very well made. So this is from Italy as well. And then all of the pans come individually wrapped with the color swatch already on those. And I did read that that is swatched on Arch's watercolor paper. So they have really put a lot of thought and effort into that, which I really appreciate. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the actual palette itself. The palette itself, it feels very, other than the sticker, the palette itself feels like a typical palette that you could get at Jackson's or anywhere else actually. To me, personally, it doesn't feel quite as heavy duty as the Schmincke palettes, but it is very beautiful, and I love the gold branding on there. So I'm going to very carefully take these out, and looks like they are all wrapped. They all have their, oh, they swatched the whole thing. It says they are, this is series 2, handmade in Italy, has the website and also has a number. It does list the pigment information. This is made from PY 184. And my mother just came and visited us, and she had brought some of my grandmother had passed away last year, and so she brought a few dishes that she thought I would enjoy. I love practical things that are pretty, and so I believe this is jadeite. And it has a small crack, but it's perfectly useful. So I thought this would be perfect to store all this in actually, and keep this in my art room. So I am going to remove all of the stickers, and I am going to put them all in here to save them. I always save my pigment information, but when it's this pretty, I think they need a special, even the wrappers need a special jewelry box. So I am getting some paint on me right away. They're really glued on tight. And I am making a mess, so maybe I need to do this off camera. I think I'm just gonna try to push that. And then I really wanna save all of this pigment information, and so I'm just gonna keep them in here. And oh my goodness. Okay, so the pan itself, oh my gosh. They have hand wrote all the names on the pan, it looks like. Wow. I can't believe they have time to do that. All right, so I'm going to carefully take all these out and try not to mess them up or anything. I will just speed this up so you guys can see. So this one just has the pigment information and not the name. So I would double check these. So that is Quin Magenta. You might want to double check and make sure some of them have the name and some of them just have the pigment information, which that's better than nothing. But I will go back and probably label these myself at another time. This does come with a very lovely brush, but it feels like it might be very delicate, and so I'm not going to use it today, actually. I'm just not. I'm going to use it to paint with, but for swatching, I just really feel comfortable with this synthetic brush. My grandmother loved art. I think she would be very happy that I'm using her dish to store my art supplies in. I think this will be a good place to keep it. And every time I use this, I will think of my grandmother. I'm going to be swatching these out on both the little swatch chart that they included, as well as just some Arches watercolor paper. All right, so I'm going to begin swatching these out. First is Lemon Yellow Permanent. I'm going to leave these swatches live so that you guys can see what you need to. Oh, it's a very gorgeous lemon yellow. Very bright. And it re-wet really nice. Next is the Acero Yellow Gold. Most of these paints are like overflowing. They've not, even though they've dried, they've not sunk in, which I'm pleasantly surprised to see. It's my first time branching out into handmade watercolors. Nice warmer yellow. Next is Arancion. I don't know how to say this. It's an orange. It's quite pretty. Next is Hokkaido Orange. I don't know how to say this either, I apologize. Almost kind of a browner orange. I like the first one better personally. And I will try to write down the pigment information when these swatches have dried. Next is Medici Red. I hope I'm not butchering all of these names, but this is a warmer red. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Very bright and clear. Next is Alizarin Crimson Hue. Oh, this is really pretty. These paints feel really nice. Feel almost intimidating to use because they feel so fancy. Next is Ruby Red. I might have let that sit too long to get any dispersion. It's very pretty though. Next is Quinacridone Magenta, one of my favorites. I might have too much water on my brush, but oh, it's a very purpley, very pretty magenta. Pink myself. Very pretty. Okay, it's so pretty. Next is Quinacridone Violet. Nice bright violet. Really pretty. Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel these are so gorgeous, but I almost feel like I'm not worthy. They're so pretty though. Okay, next is Terrarian Purple. And then next, I cannot wait to swatch this one out. It looks so interesting. I have no idea how to say this. Notturno, I have no idea. It looked like such an interesting color though. It's why one of the reasons I chose this palette is it had this really interesting color. It looks like a kind of Periwinkle violet color. Look at that. Oh, isn't that so pretty? Yeah, I'm really happy with all of these colors. Look at that. Oh, I mean, that's not a typical palette color you get in other color palettes. That is stunning. Next is Yln Blue. Really pretty. Really pretty. But I still can't get over that color. Next is Periwinkle. Which is very appropriately named. And then next is the Yln Min Blue, which is a very, very expensive color. And I think that's why it made this palette more expensive. And I have never tried this before. Wow, it's very pretty. It's like a ultramarine blue, but somehow the pigment information makes it even more special. It's very pretty. Next is Acero. Oh, it's a phthalo. It looks like a phthalo blue. It's very bright and clear. Okay, next is Aquamarine. Which would be their phthalo turquoise. Very pretty. Next is Harbor Blue, which I think is actually going to be green. Yeah, that's interesting. It says Harbor Blue, but it's quite green. So next is Olive Green Deep. Next is Forest Green. Very pretty. This is Deep Sea Green. Oh wow, this is interesting. And this is the first one that I wouldn't say it's hard to re-wet, but I didn't get as much pigment. Oh, there it goes. Okay, never mind. I needed a little more water with that one. That's very pretty. After they've dried, I'm liking this one better than the Aquamarine. Okay, next is Fig Green, which looks like a May green almost, or a yellow green. They're calling it Fig Green. It's like a light yellowish green. And then next is Quinacridone Gold. Oh good, I'm so glad to see this color. This palette does not have very many neutrals at all, and this will, oh look at this. This might be, this is a really pretty Quinacridone Gold, which I find very useful to make really pretty green mixes. And really pretty. And next is Transparent Red Oxide. Which almost looks like it could be a burnt sienna. Okay, I might have had some Quinacridone Gold still on there. The colors are really pretty. And next is, looks like Chromite Brown. And this is the first color that I probably could have lived without. Might be useful. Not such a huge fan of. Even this green, if you can see some granulation, you can see some blue coming out. Very, very interesting. Really lovely colors. And there's really only two that I wouldn't have chosen probably, and that's this, maybe this after it dries it'll get better, but it looks like a mud brown to me. And then this orange right here, it's, you know, everyone has different preferences, but all of the rest of the colors I find quite stunning. And this green has some blue granulation going on. It's very, very pretty. So I cannot wait to play with these more. I have also swatched them on their little card. This color is stunning. I'm very, very glad I got that. Notturno, I'm sorry, no, if I'm saying that right. I'll link it below. I hope this was helpful to have all of these colors swatched out on arches for you guys. But I cannot wait to paint with these and see how they perform in mixing and painting. This brown is drying a bit better. All right, so these swatched out beautifully. They were all easy to re-wet. I'm just going to give a few first impressions, but I will just say I had credit card rewards to splurge with, and this was my Mother's Day gift to myself because I had always wanted these. I'm very glad I waited. I think these are like a work of art themselves, and the artist who makes these, a lot of love and care goes into these, and that's why they are so expensive. I've had a few of you ask if they're worth the cost. I really can't say because everybody is in a different place. I would say if you are a beginner, I would hold off on getting these for sure. You may not appreciate a lot of the things that they've done. They've tried to not use cadmiums and cobalts, so I'm missing a cobalt teal, but they're trying to do that for probably environmental reasons. And they also add rosemary oil, and when you open it, you can smell the rosemary. Very faintly. It's not like overwhelming. I happen to love. I don't find it overwhelming or overpowering at all. A lot of them were multi-pigment. I think I would recommend to most of you is find the colors that you are interested in the most with the pigments you are interested in the most and start with those. That's what I would recommend. I'll link some of my favorite colors in the description box, but I would definitely try this color. Can you see that granulation? I've swatched these again because I really wanted to have larger swatches, and sometimes honestly when I'm swatching on camera I'm trying to hurry, so I don't always get the way I like. These are the neutrals that came with that palette, and here is the pigment information. This one is actually, when I first swatched it I wasn't a fan, but it's growing on me slowly. And then Quinacridone Gold, that's a must-have in my book. And then here are the other colors and all of the pigment. I tried to include all of the pigment information. Some of the colors that I did not initially think I would care for are to me the most stunning. Can you see the granulation and the color separation? It's beautiful. The Quinacridone Magenta, of course I love Quin Violet, but the Medici Red, I think is how you say it. And this olive green deep, can you see again? Not expect to like that one. It is quite stunning. And the Harbor Blue. For those of you that have asked, okay, so I don't want to spoil it, but I did want to share. Okay, so I'm just going to share a few just so you can see how much love goes into the packaging and care of these watercolors. Type that I want to make a jewelry box for my paints because I love my art supplies instead of jewelry. But that's just me. But this is the Copper Blue, and they all come with a swatch card. I'm not going to share all the colors, but this is the Potter's Pink, and this is the Pietra Rosa. Many of them are multi-pigment, and I believe that is because they try to stay away from any cadmiums or cobalts, any highly toxic things. I'll be sharing the rest of the colors that I purchased, but I had to show you the care that goes into these. These are just my first impressions from swatching them. I'm very intrigued, but I do need to mix with them and play with them and actually paint something with them. So I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much for watching.